What's up, YouTubers? Good morning. Hardworker 12 here with you with a beautiful 2020 Subaru Outback Onyx XT. This particular car is finished in Abyss Blue Pearl. I actually really like the Onyx Edition in this Abyss Blue Pearl. So just give you a quick walk around to have a look at it. I've already done a couple of other videos on the detailed differences on the Onyx XTs. So for the details, I'll list those links below in the description. But today we're going to have a quick look at the interior. I'm going to show you a little bit more about the StarTex Upholstery. And we're going to take this beauty for a test drive. Okay, so one of the key kind of differing features on the Onyx XT is the interior. It is what Subaru calls the StarTex Upholstery, which in a previous video I said kind of feels like vinyl to me. You do have kind of a medium gray insert here, darker gray here, and then darker gray on the bolsters with the green stitching. But on the newest Onyx XTs we've been getting, Subaru explains themselves a little bit better. So the StarTex is adventure-ready upholstery. This water-repellent, polyurethane trimmed upholstery knows that mud is a sign of good adventure. It's not only durable and stain resistant, it's soft and comfortable too. When the outside follows you inside, feel free to embrace it. And apparently this is water repellent and stain resistant, durable, and all-weather comfort, designed to be soft to the touch and more comfortable over a wider range of temperatures than other materials. So, there you go. There's the details on the StarTex Upholstery. Let's take it for a drive. All right, so driving the 2020 Subaru Outback XT Onyx Edition. This car, on first impression, weirdly feels a little bit lighter weight and yet almost a little more solid than the outgoing Outback 3.6R, which is kind of the main car that I'm comparing it to, because the 2.4 liter turbo engine in the Onyx XT is what's replacing the 3.6R, the benefit of this motor being improved fuel economy. And I'm just kind of driving it at surface streets right now. The disadvantage that this car has over the 3.6R is that at just regular light throttle openings, you don't feel the performance benefit over the 2.5i base engine in the Outback. The 3.6R, the displacement was always there. It always felt quicker than a 2.5. On the Onyx XT or any of the new Outback XTs, when you're out of the boost, you don't get that kind of muscular performance out of it. But the benefit of that is you're going to get better fuel economy. And that is why they made the change to this engine. So that's a little bit of a trade-off. I'm at a red light here and I'm first in line. So when I get a green, which is going to happen momentarily, I'll give it some throttle. Again, this is a brand new car. I'm not going to floor it or redline it because I don't want to mess up somebody's engine potentially. But I'm going to give it about half throttle. And once it gets into its rev band, you feel the power. It is, of course, it's more powerful than a 2.5 without the turbo. But again, as far as comparing it to the 3.6, unless you're totally flooring it, I don't feel the performance benefit. The benefit is fuel economy. Fuel economy. That's what they were going for with this engine. Now, with that being said, and it just shut itself off. This car has auto start-stop. So when I get going again, I'll be quiet so you can hear the operation. But that's another thing that they've done for fuel economy. The engine is stopped. It just restarted. As soon as you lift your foot off of the brake, it restarts. This is a system that doesn't really bother me. It's been around for quite a while on luxury cars. I used to sell BMWs and I used to sell Jaguars and Land Rovers, and they all had the auto start stop. So it's okay, you know, it saves gas. Let's see, I'm at a stoplight now. and it has not decided to turn itself off for whatever reason. The auto start stop's only going to function when the car feels like it. Basically, the engine has to be warmed up, the battery has to be fully charged, and the temperatures have to make sense. As far as the air conditioner and the heater, going up a hill, definitely it has more power than the 2.5. And I can feel it. I got the revs up to about 3,500 there. If you were really gonna push this car hard and go for top end acceleration, I think it would be faster than a 3.6R. But just regular driving around town, I'm doing the same test drive route that I did in a standard Outback with the regular 2.5 liter engine a couple of weeks ago. And in this sort of driving, you don't really feel the difference with the turbo. The 3.6R would feel faster here, but again, this car's gonna probably average 4 more miles per gallon than the 3.6R did. And over the course of 20,000 miles, 50,000 miles, 100,000 miles, that's really gonna add up. So it is a fuel economy improvement. Right now I'm at about 1,600 RPM going up a hill, no issue whatsoever. So the turbo probably wasn't having a big effect there, but the engine and the transmission were just pushing the car up the hill, no problem. Again, compared to the old 3.6R Outback, this car is a little bit smoother. It feels a little bit more solid. Let's see, I got a green light on a left. Handling's a little bit better. Pushed it a little bit there just for fun. Yeah, and when you get it above about 2,500 RPM, you feel the muscle from the turbo. And at higher acceleration, it feels faster. It definitely does. So it's the dynamic of a turbocharged engine. At low RPM, you don't feel as much power because the turbo's not doing much, but then again, you're not burning as much gas because it's a smaller displacement engine. At higher RPM, once the turbo's spooled up, it really feels muscular. It feels nice. This would be a great car on the highway for a long drive. You know, if you needed to get up to highway speed, maintain highway speed, pass somebody going up a hill, this would be a fantastic car for it. And I think, you know, if you were to put it on a racetrack 0 to 60 time, it would be faster than a 3.6R. But if you just do a test drive and drive it around town, you know, the way that most dealership test drives do, if you're coming out of a 3.6R and you drive an XT, you're probably going to think, well, what's the big deal? My car's faster than this. And in those around town kind of a situation, you'd be right. But overall, highway wise, going up a grade, or, you know, pure 0 to 60 testing, I think the XT definitely would be faster, and you're going to get better mileage. And just like the Outback Touring that I drove, we stopped again. Just like the Outback Touring that I drove a couple of weeks ago with the regular 2.5 engine, this car does feel more refined than the previous generation Outback. You know, the throttle input is smoother, the braking is smoother. The transmission actually feels a little bit different in this car than it does in the regular 2.5. I feel like they've tuned the CVT differently. You can kind of feel it, over the line, lane departure warning. You can kind of feel it. I feel like it mimics a traditional automatic more in this car and kind of makes you feel like it's shifting. So yeah, maybe the transmission logic is a little bit different between the XTs and the 2.5i's. The 2.5 liter car is probably tuned for comfort a little bit more, and this one's tuned to be a little bit faster, which makes sense because somebody who's going to buy an XT, they want a car that's faster, and it is. It definitely is faster. There's no question about that. So anyways, 2020 Subaru Outback XT Onyx Edition. Yep, shifting its gears. It's quick. It is quick. It's deceivingly quick, because when you're first driving it a little bit, it doesn't feel that fast, but once you drive it a little bit and you give it a little gas, yeah, this is a fast car, especially for what it is, being whatever this car is, a mid-sized station wagon, compact SUV crossover. Still a hard car to pigeonhole. I saw a report the other day that said the Subaru Outback is the best-selling wagon in America, and I suppose that's true if you want to consider it a wagon with its 8.7 inches of ground clearance. It's got the same ground clearance pretty much as a Jeep Grand Cherokee. So I don't know if it's really fair to call it a station wagon, but then again, maybe the roof's not tall enough to call it an SUV, so who knows? Call it what you want to call it. But I'm going to call it fast. I'm going to call it nice to drive. I am going to call it an improvement over the old one, which hurts my heart a little bit because I love that 3.6R engine so much. But this is a really nice car, and with the Onyx Edition, you get the nice styling. I do like the interior. It is comfortable to sit on these StarTex seats, and they do feel durable. I'm sure they would hold up well long term. I like the full-size spare tire in this car. I like this car a lot. This is a nice car. So, I approve. A lot of fun. Cool car. That's my test drive. Just for fun, since you watched this long, we'll take a quick look under the hood, and then we'll be done. So here is your 2.4 liter turbo engine on the new 2020 Outback XT Onyx Edition. I've shown this motor a couple of different times in a couple of different cars, so I'll show a couple other things here. That big kind of silver metal piece on the top, that's your intercooler. That cools off the intake charge from the turbocharger before it goes into the engine. And the old Outback XTs had hood scoops. They don't put them on the new ones, but if you look in the hood here and here, those are kind of air ducts that then direct air onto that, or into that I should say, and that forces it down onto the intercooler when the hood is closed and the engine's running. So that replaces the hood scoop from the old Outback XTs from, 2005 to 2009. Other thing about Subarus, kind of applies to all of them, below the hood. If you're ever about to take a road trip and you want to check your stuff, everything you need to check is capped in yellow. There's your oil dipstick, there's your engine coolant, that's where you add oil, that's windshield washer fluid, and that is your brake fluid. Of course, there's no power steering fluid reservoir in this car because the power steering is electric. And if you ever wonder what these kind of funny looking marks that you can find in different places in your engine compartment are, that is from the assembly process. They have people that go through and check stuff on these cars, and if it has a different color mark, like the oil dipstick has a purple mark on it and the oil filter has a white mark, that means that two different people checked this car for whatever quality assurance they do at the factory in Lafayette, Indiana, where this car was made. So anyway, that is your 2020 Subaru Outback Onyx XT. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps me out. And please have a wonderful day and drive safely. Bye-bye.